Welcome to this tutorial series on microservices. So I'm creating an e-commerce sample application for microservices development example. So this is the architecture that I am following for the microservices development. And so I already created Eureka Server. I already created the microservices. I order service is already created, customer service, product service, DB services. So if you have not seen my last couple of videos, so please check those videos first before coming to this video directly. So there I had explained step by step process of creating the microservices using Eclipse, Spring Boot, and these are my couple of video that I already created. So you can also subscribe my channel. That will be a better option. If you subscribe, then can able to get automatic updates for my tutorials. So in this video I will be configuring the Eureka server pending tasks. So in my last video I created the Eureka server. So I tested the Eureka server also, and also registered the all four microservices to Eureka server. So in this video I will be removing the hard coded URLs. So because actually I was firstly creating the microservices step by step, then I had created a Eureka server. For better understanding, I created the microservices using Spring Boot, sample microservices. Then I created a Eureka server, and then I integrated that with the Eureka server. So Eureka server is used for the microservices communications. Mm, because if we have a number of microservices, then for the better communication we use Eureka server. So because the microservice is a, if you use Spring Boot, so microservices is a single process that have particular port number and URL, and so it will be directly deployed into the server. So it's a single instance. So each microservice have different port number and server name. So that's why we use Eureka server. So we don't have to worry about the different port number and server of the n number of microservices. So we just configure it with the Eureka server. So they will be directly registered to the Eureka server, and we just need to call the service name. So uh, if you check my order service, so in this order service I'm calling the customer service. So I'm calling the customer service and product service. So internally customer service and product service calling the DB service to get the information. So here we have hard coded the URLs. So this is the customer service URL and this is the product service URL. So let's try to modify it. So for the customer service we need to give the customer service name. So here we need to provide the customer service name, and same way we need to provide the product service name. So if we check our product service name URL, service name, so this is the service name. So let's change it here, and this is our DB service. So DB service URL I already modified. So this is the DB service URL. So we did the order service configuration for the hard coded URLs. So now we need to configure the same thing here in customer service, because in customer service we are calling the DB service. So we need to give the DB service URL, so service name. So this is the DB services name. So let's modify it here. Okay. So now we have one more microservices service left, that is product service. In product service, we are calling the DB service. So let's change it here. Okay. So the hard-coded URLs are modified. So we don't have any hard-coded URL. So there is one more pending configuration for the Eureka server, that is load balancing. So if we are using Eureka server, so Eureka server internally use the load balancing, client side load balancing. So we need to give one annotation. So because Eureka server is internally doing the load balancing, so we need to provide this annotation. So it should be load balanced. Yeah. So we need to give this annotation to all other microservices that we are registering with Eureka server. So I think we are registering our 4 microservices with the Eureka server. So we need to provide this configuration with all of those microservices. I think here we are not using. Yeah, we can in the order service we have to modify. So we are using as template in the order service. So here we can change it, and order service also we have to use load balancing. Okay, that's it. So we completed the Eureka server configuration. So now we can test it. So we need to start the Eureka server first because Eureka server is registered with all 4 microservices. So this, so first we need to start this one. So first let's start the Eureka server. Let's check it. Check the configuration. The service name is Eureka service 830. Okay, it's fine. So we can start it. So meanwhile it is starting, so we can check the URLs that we are going to test. So if you check our order service, so we are calling the customer service. So we are calling the customer service. We are passing the we are passing the customer username and the product name, and then we are saving the order. Okay. So let's check our database for the records that we will be testing with those records. So we already tested the microservices and we already created the tables. Tables are already created, and we already tested some of the endpoints. So these endpoints we already tested. So we can check it. So the server is started. So we can start other microservices. So let's start one by one. Okay, so customer service is now starting. So we need to start the DB service now. Let's check what database we are using. Okay, test we are using. And, and The table name is something else. Let's quickly check the table name. It's order detail. Okay, so we had placed the one order that we had tested, and so let's check other tables. We should have customer table. Yeah, customer is there. Have product table. Okay, so fine. So now our customer service is started successfully. Let's check it. Yeah, customer service is started. So now we can start the DB service, and we can parallelly start the other services as well. Let's start the product service. So it's already tested and it's already working fine. Actually, what I'm going to test is that we did the we did changes for the hard coded strings. So now we are using the real benefit of using Eureka Server, that we have to provide the service name, and then we configured all hard-coded URLs and we changed those URLs. So now I'm going to test it if those configurations are working fine. Using hard-coded URL, it was working. So let's try to check. Okay, the I think all four microservices are started. So let's check the port number of Eureka server. Okay, it's 8301. It's already there. Yeah, so as we see, all microservices are registered with the Eureka server. So our customer service is using 9301, port number DB service is 9301, and order service is 9304, and product service is 9302. So now we can test the order service. So I have the postman. So this is the order service URL. So after I hit this URL, what happen in the background is, let's check our order service. So as you see, this is the URL, order service URL. Here I'm passing the customer name. So customer name is John user. So if you check our DB, we have the table order. So in the order we have customer name, customer username is John. So yeah, here in the customer table we have customer username as a John user. So we are passing the customer username and then we are passing the product name as P1. So this URL is getting executed. So inside it will call the e-commerce customer service. So it will call the customer service, and then you will get the information of the customer, detail of the customer, and then we will get the product detail by calling the product service. So if you check the customer service, so here it is calling the DB service internally to fetch the customer details. Same way product service is calling DB service internally to get the price details. So after getting all those details, we are saving the order actually. So this is the DB service URL to save the order. So let's test it quickly and then we'll see what happens. The port number is 9304. Yes, it is. Okay, it's sending the request. I think there is an error. Okay, let's check the error. We're getting the 500 error. Okay. Hmm. Actually, there was a problem. We were getting 500 error. So this was the issue actually. Cannot deserialize instance of a boolean. So if we check our order service, so this is our order resource. So here we were using the boolean. So I changed it to object. So because from the orders from the DB service we were getting the boolean value. Let's check the DB service. So this is our DB service. So here we were getting the boolean value, but it was not deserializing it, so I changed it to object. So now it is working fine. So let's check. Let's hit the URL again. So this is the URL of the order service that we are testing. So let's check the order. Yeah, you see now the order is getting placed. So if we send again, yeah, now a new record is inserted. So the Eureka server configuration is working, and we did the Eureka server all configurations. We configured it with the microservices. We also removed the hard-coded URLs, and then we also tested with the hard-coded URL. So if we create some more microservices, for example, if we create 10 more microservices in this application, so we have to register all those microservices with the Eureka server, and then we need to provide the service name while we hit any of the REST endpoint of microservice. So here, as we see, we are calling the in this order service we are calling the customer service. So what is happening internally is these all four microservices are registered to the Eureka server. So while we are hitting order service endpoint, this endpoint we are hitting, so is first calling this order microservices it is calling. So while it is calling this URL, so internally it is the request is directing to the Eureka server. We are because we are using service name here. So the request is given to the Eureka server, and the from Eureka server it will be routed to the customer service. So then we are able to get the customer data because our DB service is also registered with the Eureka server and it is also started. So customer service is calling the DB service, and again if we see this line of code, here we are calling e-commerce product service. So same way, first from the order service it is calling to the request is going to the Eureka server. It is checking the e-commerce product service name, and then because the all four microservices are registered with the Eureka server, if we check it here, so these are already registered with some port number and and server name. So after Eureka server, it fetch the product price, and then it call the product server internally calling the DB service. So in this way we are able to communicating between the microservices. So this is the good design pattern that we are actually using for the better practice of the microservice development. So that's all for this video. So I have to configure Joule proxy that I will be doing into my further videos, and then I will be creating the AngularJS UI, and from there I will be calling the Joule proxy, and then the request will be redirected to particular microservices. So thanks for watching, thanks for your time, and see you in next video. Bye bye.